Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Alright, welcome back guys. I apologize, I am late. I was doing some other things and time kind of got away from me. So I apologize that I am in fact late. What's up, Dave? It is interesting today. How are you, sir? What's up, Dennison? I see you out there. Don't know where you are, but there you are. Still morning, technically. Well, actually, no, it's afternoon. Normally, it's still morning, but not today. Today, it is in fact afternoon. Don't have any coffee on me. I've just got a Coke Zero. Maybe something a little more energetic later. You'll survive? All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. What's up, Johnny Dollar? How are you? It's been a rough few weeks, but we'll all get through it. I promise. I promise. And if not, well, that's okay. All right. So everybody knows who I am. I don't really need to introduce myself as much as I used to, but occasionally we'll have people wander in that have never been here before. So if you are here, first timer, just sound off and I'll let you know kind of what we're going to do. Otherwise, just sit back and relax and just let it flow. Speaking of Flow State's been a cool dude lately. My volume is low. Interesting. Oh yeah, it is low. Look at that. Let's see. Let's go. Let's see if that hits it. Is that better? There's something that goes on when I shut down that the software sets it to something random when I reboot, and it's almost always a lower volume than where it is. We good? Everybody sound good? No, I'm not on the wrong mic. I'm on the right mic. It's just a setting. It just where the mic goes through, because I can put it in like 4 or 5 different places. That's what she said. All right, as I was saying, if you are new here, which I doubt anyone is, feel free to ask questions, and I will try and help you out if I can. It is Monday, April 27th, 2026. We've had quite a weekend. We had the attempt Friday on President Trump, and the guys have been going nonstop since then. And it's crazy how good, how some of the different takes have gone. That's okay. Over here, I try and talk straight with not a lot of spin. There's no sacred cows over here. I'll go after both sides equally, although in general, people don't like it because they'll accuse me of playing favorites, and that is fine. I assume that most of us play favorites. Again, we got a lot of headlines out there this week. A lot of things going on. I've had a lot of really great conversations, by the way, over on other channels. I don't restream those, so you can't find that on my channel usually. And so it's an interesting dynamic all the way around. There will be coming up several episodes of Gun Prattle, and you will want to see those as I release them, so pay attention. Most of those will be premiered, not live. I don't normally do Gun Prattle live because it's hard to do that without offending YouTube. At any rate, yeah, we got a world that needs fixing out there, and we got a lot of headlines, a lot of stuff going on. We've got some real talk about it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I try and talk about what's really happening in the country and not what is shilled by various people. I am not a shill. Nobody pays me but me. Unless you choose to donate. If you do choose to donate, I'm happy to take your donations, but do not feel like you must donate. I am a professional YouTuber, but YouTube is not my profession. and therefore, I don't get a lot of money out of this. Matter of fact, I'm 9,000% sure that I spent more money this year than YouTube paid me, and that's okay. All right. Okay. If you've been keeping track, Saturday night's chaos at the White House dinner is the third documented attempt, but that they've talked about where they actually know who the assailant is. However, we know, if you've been paying attention, that the Secret Service has blocked multiple attempts on Trump's life, and that's okay. I mean, look, he's president, comes with the territory. He knew what he was signing up for. I don't hear him complaining about it at all. Don't really hear him calling for a bunch of extra stuff. It's just, just part of the job, I guess you would say. But in 2 years, there have been several attempts on that man's life, and he tends to just kind of shrug it off. And I like that. I actually like that about him. Like, there's a lot of things that I can point to about Trump and say, hey, I really don't like this. This is not on the list. I actually really think that Trump's doing a pretty good job, and we should acknowledge that, right? So stick around, guys. Go and tell your buddies, bring a friend. Let's get into this. We're going to break down what this latest attack tells us about the political violence in America. We've seen a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people out there talking about, how basically how this violence is happening. I'm sorry, what? It does sound cannish or roomish. My sound, is my audio off, or is it your speakers? Because I'm going to be honest with you, generically, everything looks really great, but we'll figure it out. I can kind of turn things down and manipulate things. It is running through voice mod right now. So let me see, make sure that there's nothing going on over there. No, everything looks good. And I'm not peaking. I don't have any mic cuts or anything like that. Microphone looks great. Audio out looks great. Everything looks great. Oh yes, it's improved much. All right, thanks guys. I appreciate that sound check. Thank you very much. So everybody all weekend, we've seen pundits, we've seen the content creators, and basically all kinds of, basically anybody with a platform of any kind, except me, I have not waded in yet, talk about this assassination attempt on Trump. Third documented attempt, but it's an interesting one for sure. If you got comments, drop them in the chat. If you really actually get everything set, if you really actually want to get into it, after I do my monologue, you can come up, just sound off and tell me you want to come up, and we can talk about it. I already see, some of you guys are on me about my sound, and that's okay. All right, so big picture. And I haven't said anything publicly about the assassination attempt anywhere because I kind of wanted to let it marinate. I always wait in these cases to get the how, what the reality is and where things are, where what we're talking about before I start actually commenting, because generically we get this massive outpouring of information, and a lot of it is false. So there we go, and so we got a lot to talk about. Let's talk big picture, okay? So that dinner the other night, which was interrupted obviously by the shooter, that was kind of kicking off this this thing that's happening today, which was President Trump and First Lady Melania are hosting King Charles III and Queen Camilla. I'm not really sure how you say her name. I think it's Camilla in the English pronunciation. That's a full state visit with all of the trappings. It's the first of its kind in years. It's actually the first I can remember, but I probably wasn't paying attention the last time it happened. They are greeting the royals at the White House later this afternoon amid the 250th anniversary celebrations. And it's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of pressers and that sort of thing going on. It's a big deal, right? It's a big deal. It's a lot of pomp, a lot of pageantry, a lot of that the works, right? The works, the whole thing, the full Monty, if you will. But with this assassination attempt, now there's a lot of tension. It's massive tension, right? You've got Britain's Prime Minister, not really sure how you say his name, Keir Starmer, or Starmer, I think, has been dragging his feet on the Iran situation, and Trump is, of course, Trump's been Trump. He's not shy about calling a spade, is calling a spade a spade. He's calling it out. He's saying, hey, the prime minister is dragging his feet. Iran has now just floated a new proposal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz while kicking nuclear talks down the road. They want to basically say, hey, we're okay with, we'll do the ceasefire, open the Strait of Hormuz, but we don't want to talk about the nuclear weapons for, I think they said a year. It might be 2. I forget what. I don't actually know where we are currently in the talks, but they definitely want to kick that down the road. And meanwhile, Israel is dealing with fresh Hezbollah drone strikes. And obviously Iran, every time Hezbollah does something, they're the dirty stepchildren that Iran knows nothing about. Yet all of the technology that Hezbollah is using is coming from Iran, and it's just this like incestuous web of lies to deceive. And this is putting a lot of tension on the ceasefire. To continue forward with the ceasefire, these strikes need to stop, because Israel and the rest of the Arab states that are trying to basically become the enforcement arm in the Arab nations or in the Middle East, they really need this to stop, and they need to move past it. And the Iran has to quit tacitly supporting Hezbollah. What's up, Brandon Ray? What's up, man? Ray Moto. Good dude. How are you? Marilyn is in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. And of course, my buddy Josh and Douglas Ehrlich. Josh says that he's bothered that a person actually believed they could just run past a checkpoint. Apparently, they did, in fact, do just that thing. So that's very interesting. All right. So all of this is going on immediately after the assassination attempt. You just finished your review on this topic? Well, that's great. I didn't get the chance to watch it, so we'll talk about it. Maybe you can come up and we can talk about it. Now, and I'm not sure how many other content creators, reporters, people that cover things are talking about the effects of this outside of this idiot trying to run past security. I'm sorry, guys. My phone is blowing up. I apologize. Let me mute this down. I do declare. There we go. That's terribly unprofessional of me. Okay. All right. So, we really have to also consider what this is doing in the markets, right? So while we've got the state visit, we've got the assassination attempt, we've got Iran dancing around, tiptoeing on the Strait of Hormuz, wanting to kick the nuclear issue down the road, but going ahead, but they really want and need the Straits of Hormuz opened. We'll talk about that more in a minute. The markets watch all of it. Oil prices, defense stocks, the usual. We're the people who make moves are looking at which moves to make right now. Also got severe weather going on. We've got tornadoes throughout Texas and up into the Midwest. Our buddy Flow State last night, basically ended his stream so that he could, because there was some tornadoes potentially coming through, and he didn't want any of the lightning or anything else to zap his computer. So that was a legit concern on his part. So people we know are being affected. So, but we got tornadoes, we got damaging winds, we've got rain and hail and all of that stuff. Life goes on. We all know, we've all been there. We've all been in a hailstorm. Well, maybe not in a hailstorm, but we've all had these things going on. But the one story that is continuing to dominate all and have an effect on all of this stuff, Saturday night at the Washington Hilton. Saturday night is all right for fighting. Saturday night. Yeah. Look, I'm not Elton John, guys. So, ignore my singing. All right, let's get into it. Saturday evening, during the correspondence dinner, we all know now, or most of us should know by now, that a 31-year-old man named Cole Thomas, heard it both ways, Allen from Torrance, California, that's outside of LA, charged through a security checkpoint, right? Just ran right through it, struck a Secret Service agent. Pardon me. I'm getting ahead of myself. He just charged through the checkpoint, the security checkpoint, just ran through it. He had a knife, a shotgun, which I'm going to assume that it was like a street sweeper or a hog leg or mule leg or whatever, shortened. So it was an AOW or something like that. I'm a full-size shotgun trying to get that through there. Probably not. I just can't see that happening. So, but he also had a handgun. And actually there were multiple knives, but he had the knife or multiple knives, shotgun and a handgun, guys ready to go. He opens fire. This is an actually important point, is he actually got some rounds off. He did hit a Secret Service agent in the vest. Guy's okay. Obviously, that was a shotgun or pistol round rather than a rifle round. At that close range, I'm not sure that the vest would have done its job. And the agent is expected to be fine. We've all seen those headlines. And right after firing the shot, this dude gets tackled, taken into custody. Now, kudos to the Secret Service for being super professional and not curb stomping this dude into oblivion. He actually looked pretty unharmed from the pictures I've seen. If anybody else has seen some other pictures or video, I would love to know about it. All the pictures and video I've seen, it looks like a very professional takedown. Obviously, he was tackled and taken into custody before he could reach the ballroom. And President Trump, Melania, Vice President Vance, and the cabinet members that were there with their security were all evacuated. And no big deal. They all got out safely. No guests or staff were hurt. Period. Except for the Secret Service agent, and that's his job. So while we're effectively treating this as the third assassination attempt on Trump, we know that he's had bullets have impacted the perspex, the bulletproof panel in front of him. And we know that multiple bullets have impacted that while he's been at various speaking engagements. We know that there have been other attempts on Trump's life, and they're just not getting documented. The CIA, or pardon me, the Secret Service keeps a tight rein on it. You probably heard most of this by now, but I'm just going to run through it. I've been listening to people kind of getting it wrong all weekend, and I've been listening to the pundits talk about how he wasn't really a Democrat. He is a Democrat or whatever. We're just going to get into this. I'm going to run through this really quickly, and I'm going to give you some of my observations outside of this because I don't want to add a lot of color. I'm going to bring everybody up to speed first, and then we'll go back through it. All right. So Cole Thomas Allen, whatever. He was a teacher, local in Torrance, California. I think he'd been teacher of the month a few times. When this came out, there were people that work with him that were like, "Oh, he's such a good guy," all of this kind of nonsense. Apparently, he also did video game software development. He was not, he's not a basement dwelling, e-thug, loner type kind of guy. He just, whatever that means. And a couple of interesting things. He was staying in the Hilton, right? In the host hotel. That's how he could go up to his room, put everything together, put it on his person, and then come down and just attempt to run by the checkpoint, because we're not taught. It's not like he had to make it 70 or 100 yards through several checkpoints. He literally got off. It looks like to me, he got off of the elevator and just took off running towards the Secret Service and got as far as he could before they took him out. Okay. Apparently he had written material in his room, and sent a note to his family before the attack. Basically, his manifesto, his the reasoning why, all that kind of nonsense. I'm calling it a manifesto. Several officials are calling it a manifesto. A lot of the left-wing media are not calling it manifesto. Apparently in it, he apologized to his parents, colleagues, students, bystanders, blah, 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 all of the people except for Trump. He said he didn't expect forgiveness. Of course not. Why would you? You're trying to kill the president. That's dumb. He laid out the rules of engagement for him targeting Trump and the administration officials. Apparently, he actually thought he was going to get away with this. This is insane. The Secret Service are really damn good at their job. And the guy didn't even get in the same room with Trump. That's how pathetic this was. It was absolutely sad, and it's terrible. It's terrible stuff. He basically, I don't know if this is a quote. This is what's been out there. Prioritize from high ranking to lowest the targets from that he would engage, which is fairly fucking arrogant. So anyway, he referred to the security at the hotel as lax, which I believe that, and called himself. I don't remember the exact phrase. I don't have it in front of me, guys. I'm sorry, but I don't remember the exact phrasing. But it was like the friendly federal assassin or your friendly neighborhood assassin or some shit like that. Like kind of a play on the Spider-Man thing, right? Now reports, I'm sure we've all read these or seen them from other content creators and pundits. Reports say he hated Christians. He had a lot of hatred for Christians, and he railed against Trump's administration policies. He railed against the fact that the Christian populace elected Trump. He hated the deportation centers. He hated the strikes on Venezuela. He was really upset that we sank their boats, even though they were bringing in deadly drugs, which probably touched his life in some way. He was totally okay with that, but not okay with blowing up the boats. And obviously the Iran situation, that's, because we're winning, because Trump is winning, he just couldn't take it. He mentally disassociated from himself. And like all insane people, he thought he was absolutely right. He thought he was absolutely right, but he was wrong. He had a ton of anti-Trump and anti-Christian rhetoric on his social media. It was very interesting in the first few hours after it happened and the next morning before the social media got truly scrubbed. Obviously, all of the social media guys were on it instantly. They were downloading and copying his site as soon as they found it. So we have that as public, held for public knowledge before the feds took it down, which is why we know a lot of this stuff. But it was interesting to watch in real time how the Democrats and rhinos were like, well, we don't know this guy's political affiliation. Trump has obviously pissed off so many of his own people that they're now trying to take him out. And they're really trying to spin it as they're really trying to spin this initially as a Trump supporter who'd lost faith and disillusioned. And of course, none of that shit was true. None of it. Not any of it. The guy's own brother had reportedly complained to law enforcement beforehand that his brother's getting out of hand. He was buying firearms, blah, blah, blah. Why did people make manifestos? To be famous. They want to be famous. They want to be remembered, and they want people to understand what they're going through. They want to be, it's the last gasp for attention from a spoiled 3-year-old that never grew up. That's what it is. All right, now let's talk about the reality here. This wasn't random. Right. This guy's premeditated it, planned it, looked into it. It's premeditated political violence. That's what we have here, folks. We have premeditated political violence. It's just bad. Just all bad. All because somebody ignored them in 5th grade. That hot chick went out with the popular guy or the leader, and this guy, he failed. He failed at life. That's what he did. And I can say with conviction that this guy failed at life because he did something that is it's so out there. There's no reason for him to do these things, and yet he did them anyway. He's failed. For a long time, he's going to be remembered as having failed. Guys, hopefully the stream's flowing smoothly. I've got a piece of software in the background that's constantly resetting, and I'm not really sure why. So hopefully everything's going smooth. If not, tell me, I'll fix it. But again, this wasn't random. Obviously, this guy actually, he sat down, he planned it out. He was he just did this. He did the lazy, leftist thing, right? Real Rain 89 says, I remember when instead of pew-pews, Crazy would just buy guitars and make bad music. Fair. That's true. I remember those days too. Whether or not the shooter explicitly said, I'm here for Trump. Whether or not he actually said that, whether or not he, I see what it is. Maybe it's my tablet. I think my tablet is bucking up here. I may have to turn it off. All right. Anyway, sorry. Apologies about that, guys. So where was I? Whether or not he came out and said, I'm here for Trump, right? Because if you guys heard this rhetoric, that what they're actually trying to say now is that he wasn't actually there for Trump. No, sir. No, sir. He was there to take out everybody, not just Trump. And that's probably true, but I think his main target was Trump. Whether or not he explicitly said, hey, I'm here for Trump, in every sentence, his writings make it clear that the intent was, I'm here for Trump. Right? That's crystal clear. Can't make it any clearer. And again, yet there's so many outlets out there that are still trying to say that this guy's not even a Democrat. There's pundits out there. There are creators out there. There are reporters, and I guess that's what they call themselves, out there tiptoeing around calling it an assassination attempt. They're tiptoeing around calling this guy an assassin. They're tiptoeing around calling him a Democrat. They're tiptoeing around literally everything. Literally all of it. I mean, come on. When a guy books a hotel room where Trump's going to be giving a speech, assembles firearms that he smuggled in, multiple firearms, by the way, not just one or two, but multiple firearms. I guess it was really just two, but knives, multiple weapons. I'll say weapons. Takes the elevator down and storms past security at an event where the president is speaking, his wife is there. It's a dinner. It's supposed to be kind of low key. With a manifesto naming the administration as targets and at the same time airing of grievances that make no damn sense. Where is the confusion? Why are creators out there running their mouths in anything other than to condemn this guy to the furthest pits of hell and condemn his actions? Why? I condemn his actions. He certainly is not a Republican. He's not a conservative. He's not a matter of fact, I'm not sure that he is capable of conscious thought, to be honest with you. But it was random in no way whatsoever. Like, have you heard you probably have heard at by now over the last couple of days how people are saying this is just a random incident, blah, blah, blah. And every time they would say something like this, it would come out, well, he actually has been talking about this for months on his social media. He actually went out and purchased the firearms and disassembled them and then reassembled them. All of that. No coat. Hank, I'm not getting you. Help me out. Help me out with that. So what does it say about the country when this kind of bullshit reporting can happen? All right. Political violence is rising. My man, Mikey Balls, did a piece on that the other day. That was really good. A couple other people have been doing a really good job of reporting. I think, as a matter of fact, Andrew did a thing about how political violence is rising as well. On both sides of the aisle, but certainly the Democrats are absolutely unhinged, and both sides need to own their own rhetoric, their own call to arms, their own invisible lines in the sand. Both sides do, but the Democrats need to acknowledge that they are the biggest chunk of this problem right now. They really, really are. Because let's be honest, it's about patterns, right? The last 2 years have seen repeated attempts on Trump's life. Repeated attempts on Trump's life. While the corporate media, the paid for social media talking heads, influencers, whatever you want to call them, political voices that are paid for, bought and paid for, have been calling him a threat to democracy, a fascist, a Hitler figure. You can't spend years dehumanizing and villainizing or vilifying a man and then act shocked when someone who listens to your nonsense, who is a member of the group that you report that you are a part of, purport actually to be a part of. You can't act shocked when that dumbass goes out unstable, shockingly mad, and decides the only solution is political murder, assassination. That's what we call that. Yeah. Words often have consequences, right? I know that. Brandon Ray knows that. There's a ton of people in the chat that know that words have consequences. And I used to have a saying, there used to be this saying in that it's a Heinlein saying, right? Robert Heinlein, one of my favorites. And the saying goes along the lines of, an armed society is a peaceful society, and a man chooses his words carefully when he may have to back them with gunplay. And we've lost that. We have absolutely lost that. We're not in a position anymore to really stress the proper things, right? But we can't act shocked about this. You cannot act shocked about this when you are the ones that are literally stoking the fires. And so while I personally believe that the Second Amendment exists to hold politicians accountable, we can't have political violence become the norm. It cannot be the new normal. Left, right, center, anywhere in between, it can't become the norm. It cannot. It's never been the norm in this country, but it has become closer lately in the recent years to being that political violence is an accepted norm. Now, we can say that this is because, we have a bunch of immigrants bringing their mindset from whatever country they left, where political violence is accepted and expected. We could say that we have a whole bunch of people these days that are identify as communist or socialist or anything like that, and they look to the past and see that the great peasant uprisings and that sort of thing, so they want political violence. I think that that's horrible. I think that that's a really bad thing for everyone. And it cannot, I repeat this, as somebody who shoots a lot, who is perfectly willing to do violence in the cause of good, we cannot have political violence become the new normal. Just full stop, can't happen. Now, we all know, or should know by now, that the Secret Service is once again under scrutiny. How did a guy with a shotgun and knives get that close? The Hilton is obviously a big hotel, but this is a major national event. How much control can you truly have in a Hilton hotel? Because you can't search every person who checks in. You can't check their luggage. You can't demand to invade their privacy. Can't do that. Hilton's a big hotel, and this was a major national event. If there were such protocols and they failed, if there were supposed to be metal detectors between and a security officer between the elevators closest to the entrance to this event, and those people were either not there or had been removed, or it was never set up to start with, heads should roll. Heads should roll. If it's the case that you can't, if for whatever reason, if it is such the case that for whatever reason, Trump did not want to have any input into the security, or he didn't want to inconvenience the guests of the hotel, and he talked them down, then obviously they need to talk about that with him. And as far as the way I understand it, Trump himself said that he wasn't worried when the shots rang out. He was fine. They didn't get. He was just like, okay, I'm safe. We're gonna move to a safer place, and all of that. He also, in classic Trump fashion, praised the agents who took the gunman down. He later called out Nora O'Donnell with CBS, I think, or NBC, I forget which, in strong terms during a 60-minute segment. And in true Trump fashion, he faced it, and he did what it did what he needed to do. Yes, Brandon Ray, I agree that that guy had to run like Forrest Gump trying to get to the ballroom. And he just didn't make it. And this is and so I don't actually see this as huge a failure as probably the Secret Service does, because the guy never got to the ballroom. He never got to where he could actually do damage. Yeah. There you go. I don't know. We all know, we should know, if you've been paying attention, the suspect, as somebody else said it here earlier, the suspect is due in federal court today to face charge, including assault on a federal officer. That's a big one. And using a firearm in a crime of violence. I think that is a big deal where they're at in Washington, but I believe they may be charging him in Virginia. I'm not really sure about that. Somebody could clarify. That'd be great. I don't have it. I didn't make a note of it when I wrote all this stuff up, and I don't have my notes in front of me. There's nothing here. That's what it is. FBI's raided his home. Obviously, the first thing they did was to figure out who the guy was. Second thing they did was call back to Torrance, California, and get the local FBI office to raid his house. Make sure that the scene was secure, so they had as much information as possible. And so that's good. Obviously, we'll be watching that really closely, see if there's anything. The guy's got a secret storage unit somewhere with the dirty bomb in it, and letters from the late great Ayatollah, who is pushing up daisies now. I mean, you never know. That guy could have been. Guy could have visited, Iran a dozen times in the last year. Who knows? Now, I'm going to say my bottom line on this is America's better than this, right? We're far. So we all heard of the 4 boxes of liberty, right? Right. The boxes of liberty. The ballot box, the soap box, the ballot box, the cartridge box. I guess it's 3 boxes of liberty. And we're nowhere near. We're barely in the soapbox stage, and we honestly haven't done enough at the ballot box. What are we talking about with Sage? Are you okay? Did the dumb stick hit you? I'm not really sure what you had to say. Make that make sense. Josh says, I think maybe we have underestimated dumb and what dumb is willing to do. Sure. I agree with that. But again, we are better than this, right? In theory, we ought be able to settle our differences at, soapbox, ballot box, jury box, and cartridge box. Thank you. That is correct. I don't know why I drew a blank there. I don't have any notes up here, guys. I apologize. In general, we celebrate our differences as a society at the soap and ballot boxes. Rarely with gunfire in this country. We've only had the one civil war compared to, some countries have a civil war every 10 years or 8 years. But at the same time, we also cannot pretend that the temperature isn't sky high, that it's not boiling over, that we don't have people who literally can't see straight because they refuse to accept that Trump won and governs and is still standing. And no matter how often they try and take him out with whatever stupid thing that they aim at him, and none of it works. He's so far he's been good, and he's still standing after all of that. So at this point, I think you have to protect the president. You have to prosecute this guy to the fullest, right? Tear his life apart, see who his friends are, see what drove him to this point. And this is going to sound strange coming from me since I talk about this stuff every day, but the rhetoric has to get dialed back. It has to get dialed back. Mostly on one side, but both sides really. Every single public figure. Kind of dial back the rhetoric. At least the eliminationist, the overthrow the government, the assassination, all of that. It's got to dial it back. Fetterman's a perfect example. He's like, hey, we can't be doing this anymore. And you need to own the consequences when the next nut listens to all of this angry rhetoric and goes after yet another president. Do we have we were better than this. It's past tense now. That's probably a good point. I don't know if I want to go much more before. I kind of want to bring up some people to kind of hash this out. That would be great. So sound off if you would like to come up and chat for a few minutes. But that's basically it. I guess while I'm waiting to see if anybody wants to come up. I don't think there'll be a show tonight. I'm not going to debate anywhere. I haven't been invited to debate anywhere, and I'm not going to go looking for one tonight. And I've got I got some other stuff to do. I might take my kid fishing. I tried to take him fishing yesterday, but by the time I got the batteries in the boat and fitted them and tested everything, it was just super late in the afternoon, and it was just broiling hot. You're still confused that a civilian thinks they can run up. Do you, Josh? Do you have me on Discord? If you want to come up, you're gonna have to run. You have to run it through Discord. And the way we're going to do this is the way that we used to do it, and that is I am right this second putting the link in the mod chat. as soon as I get there, it is. The link is in the mod chat. And so you will need to go to the waiting room on my Discord. You go to the waiting room and say, mods, I'd like a link. I want to come up. And if they feel like it, they'll vet you. If not, they'll just give you the link, and away you go. Am I a power fisherman or a finesse guy? I bounce back and forth between the two. It's about time of day and where I'm at. I have my local fishing is on Tennessee River Tennessee River reservoirs and other reservoirs. So it's kind of like a Highland style lake. They're deep reservoirs, and they go from like really deep to really shallow to really deep again. And basically you can do it in just a few feet. And people quite often will tear the props off their boats because they don't have good GPS maps and that sort of thing. So, but I'm pretty solid fisherman, but I tend to start out with finesse rigs in the morning when it's cooler, or like I'll run like a drag shot, which is just a drop shot that I drag along the bottom. I'll run a drag shot in the morning to start out with, or I'll run a topwater like popper or something like that. And, that tends to work pretty well. And then, can I run a crankbait mid column, for where I'm at. And so it's pretty good. But so it's obviously because it's a reservoir and they're generating all the time. There's definitely better times than others because of water flow. And there's also better. I don't know. It's a tough lake to fish. The lake, my local lake, is a lake that just humbles people, humbles them. So we're gonna go out and he's got a little fishing pole that he wants to use, and we're gonna take it out. And he got a fishing pole for Christmas, basically through the Boy Scouts, and so he's all ready to go fishing. And it's gonna be rad. It's gonna be really cool. So you're not gonna use Discord for any of the audio or sound. You're gonna click a link, and it's gonna take you into the back chat. So, but we're gonna try and go find some bluegill or crappie. I think some smaller fish. Let him go. And if I can't go today, I'm going to reach out to a friend of mine that's a guide and see if he has anything between now and the weekend. And I'll just take my son out with the guide. And so I know we'll catch fish. As we're kind of in this lull, ladies and gentlemen, while I'm waiting for people to come up, I hope you've enjoyed the shows recently. I've been trying to move away from some of the, I don't know what you would call it. Oh, Ray and Josh can both come up, Mr. if that's one. I hate using Discord for basically anything. It's so terrible. Also, if you have a topic that I have not talked about today and you're just waiting to hear me talk about something, feel free to throw it out there, guys. We have Ray. Ray, do you? I'm going to bring you up.
Yeah, I was just,
Man, the myth,
let me get rid of Discord real quick.
the urban legend.
There you go.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm been so busy. I like can't get in a stream, but here and there, and try to get on the computer. And it's like, and I went down. I was going to call you when I got to Nashville, and I was like, then they said, "Hey, we're releasing your dad in like 2 days," and I'm like, "Shh, crap," you know what I mean? So I had to go back to Lebanon to fix, get some stuff ready at his house and stuff. And we've been going with that back. And I live like 3 hours away up in the mountains.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's been completely travel, back and forth and trying to get him set up and everything. And it's
funny you say that.
We got him set up. We got therapy there at his house and stuff like that. So it's
kind of funny you say that. I've been looking and I'm always looking at buying firearms and stuff. There have been some really good deals in the private market over in East Tennessee and Knoxville area or up in Tri-Cities. And I'm like, oh, man, I want it, but it's a 3.5 hour drive. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
I got a friend in Florida, and he's owned his own. He's a bounty hunter. He's owned his own bonds company for 30 years. And let me tell you something, this guy's got a room you would just melt in. I'm talking about a room you actually, bigger than this spare room I got right here. I'm using this office. And it's wall to wall. You would find, and he sells privately like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He puts every so often he buys and then he'll sell one of his others or whatever. I could give you this guy's information if you wanted it. Dude, I'm telling you, Grid, he's got some of the best firearms I've seen my whole life. Oh, I've seen. I've actually shot some, and let me tell you, they are freaking. He's got some high dollar. I'm talking about he's had for years and years. So I'll give you his information in Discord, and I'm telling you, this guy is a collector, shooter. He loves it, man. Like you imagine he's a bounty hunter. He's on that side of the law. He loves to collect them. So, hey, everybody in the audience, what's up? Yeah, this situation's funny because this is what aggravates me. Like you were saying, we need to calm down the rhetoric. It is on both sides. Not only that, you got The View goes on this morning, the ladies of The View and Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, yeah.
Trump is so, which she won't say his name. He's so, good at this architect and this build stuff. Why don't he just build him a new hotel with a ballroom in it instead of doing it at the White House? And I'm like, and the way she put it out is like, lady, that's what he's doing. Y'all act like this is going to be his bedroom, and when he leaves as president, he's going to come back and sleep in it every so often. It
is funny to think about because the thing about this is the best way to make the case for the White House ballroom is that they've been having these events, not offshore. But just kind of similar to that. Mr. You can go ahead and send Josh up. That's fine. Oh, you said he's on the phone? That's fine. Whenever he's ready. It's fine. But it's an interesting thing, I think. You have people that are objecting to this when it's actually the more secure, the more proper way to do it. They don't have, that's, most state dinners are done in like with the equivalent of the White House, right? If you go to Paris, they don't have the state dinner wherever it's at. I don't know if they have a president or prime minister or whatever, but they have it at their house or at least, where the government controls it. So they can control access. So they can ensure who is there and why they're there. And this is a solid answer, right? This is a solid example of how things can just go sideways so fast.
Yeah, and John Featherman even come out and said Democrats should drop the TDS, fund the Trump ballroom after this, shooting because he was there. He's okay, blah, blah, blah. And this ain't the first time, because they keep saying, he's breaking from the Democrats and say, of course, because that stroke, I truly believe it woke something up in his brain. He got the common sense bug. that we all have anyways from birth. But they don't, for some reason. They have this, delusion cloud they live in my opinion. Now, this is just my opinion. They live in this fantasy land that's not realistic, and for him to come out like this isn't the first time. And he's like, guys, and then there was a lady I seen on X. I can't remember her name. I'd seen it just briefly. Another Democrat lady come out and said, guys, stop this. President Trump's not going to take your rights. He's not going to stop your LGBT stuff. He's not going to do this. He's not taking anything away from you. You've got to stop this stuff, and it's like, okay, you say that while you're on camera or on a platform, but then you go right out here when you're next to these other, people or protest or Democrats, and then you spit this, mess of vile, Trump's the bad man, or Trump's this, or everybody's this, or Pete Hegseth is this, or, it's like, so which one is it? And then I was reading an article and watching another thing, and one guy, let me shut my window. Okay. One guy was like, one of the, Trump's people, he had a friend of his, and he's a Democrat. I'm not for sure if they said he was a reporter or what, but he said, when they grabbed him, the Secret Service grabbed him to take him away. He's like, come with me. He's like, well, no, I'm not, he said, no. And he come out and he was saying something like, he was surprised that, and he's like, okay, so if y'all are friends and you're on both different sides of the aisle, why are y'all not showing that to the public? Why are you, why are you eating lunch and having friendly drinks? And hey, let's take him and keep him safe too. Why are you not telling the American? And that's what's wrong with our Congress. Like, they'll go eat dinner with each other at lunch, but then they come out here and only speak about America and then spew this stuff when they're in front of a camera. It makes no sense why they want to divide us. And I get it. It's politics. It's money. It's backers. It's, hey, I got to have my way, but I want my way. It's the American people just need to wake up to all the bull crap, in my opinion, to what's going on up there. Because there's a lot of stuff that we can do without. A lot. Let Trump be Trump and fix his country. I mean, my Lord, because if they win the midterms, the first thing they're doing is impeaching him. That's what they've already said it. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if they're going anywhere, but that's what they're going to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it can go anywhere, but yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence about the midterms, right? Like, I've read a lot of different things from different people. Oh, it's going to flip, it's 100%. Everyone's mad about Trump about this. Everybody's mad about the Trump about that. I'm like, man, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like that. Sure, everybody's a little pissed off, but nobody I know is like changing their vote.
Yeah, me either. I don't know of that anyone that I know of that said, well, I'm just mad. I ain't going to vote for him. They're right. The Democrats are right. We're going to vote. So not only that, it's like, but also you got to look at history, because they also say, in the whole time of history, no, like, what party has ever kept the income of party has always won. Like,
well, that's a little misleading.
But we're not really that big by a margin either, though. We're not. I mean, we're there, but we're not like complete. I mean, we're the majority.
Yeah, Clover Tech's right. Historically, it would flip anyway, but when it has not flipped, which is, I think it's only not flipped like 3 or 4 times. When it's the exact kind of thing you have here, where there's such on the opposition side, there's so much baggage that the people just don't want to align themselves with that. And I think that's where we're at. I think that the Democrats are, my man, Mr. Mister, was had correctly pointed out that for the midterms in New York, they normally have the Democrats will normally raise double to 3 times the amount of money that a Republican candidate, and sometimes 10 times as much. In this case, the Republican has the RNC, which I don't even know if they've gotten a candidate yet. They've raised way more money than the Dems.
Well, just like you were saying earlier about what you saying something about, just like getting, like you said, getting the conservatives out to vote. It's like driving a nail through, 10 tons of steel. It's like,
Yeah,
you can't,
it really
why will
is.
they not go vote? It's like they prefer to talk, but then when it comes today to go actually do it, it's like, you know, I've never understood that either, and it's true it's a fact. It's hard to get those people out.
My honest opinion is I think that most conservatives think that that the Democrats have so little chance of winning that they like, well, I'm not going to vote, but my two neighbors will. Now they'll carry it.
Yeah.
But the truth is that it's been much closer than people realize.
Well, there's no way I'd miss this one. You know what I mean? There's no way I would be sitting this one out because of everything that's going on. Anyways, there's
Sure.
no way. Which I don't like to miss them anyways. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it don't matter. There's like you said, there's enough that can make up for your vote. No, if you vote, it counts. And that's why I'm always like, I'm big in the damn vote. Like my local, I want to know exactly who these people are. I love to vote for my local elections, even the school board, the road commissioner, my small town. I want to know these people. I want to know who they are. I want to know how they're raising their family, their kids, blah, blah, blah. Because I want to know if they line up with what I line up. Because if not, I'm not going to vote for them. Just like the governor and, and all these people here in Tennessee. I believe we got some good people, but I also believe that, some may, have a more, tougher time in the future because they just, I don't know. Because I'm way up in the mountains, man. My little town don't hold but a few people. So it's like we don't really get to see those big leaders, the governors and the representatives. They don't really come around us, not my little town much. So it's like, how do you relate to somebody if you're not coming? And if they do, it's like once a year, of course, voting time. Or if you do hear about it, you hear about it 2 or 3 days later. Oh, such and such stopped by and was up here. It's like, really? How come you didn't alert the town? How come we didn't know about it? It's like you just want to meet with the certain little politicians, but then they expect their vote. Like, hey, give me more of a notice if you want me to come and listen and let me hear what you have plans for Tennessee or what you're representing, because I don't trust me. And we all know it's all, blah, 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 because if they really told us that they were going to take our money and send it over here, do over here, we wouldn't vote for them. That's just the bottom line, and it's on both sides. So it ain't just one side of politicians. It's on both. But this guy here, man, and like you were saying, King Charles III, is showing the airplane now. Queen Camilla lands in the U.S. for a state visit. All this stuff over the weekend. I think a lot of people don't even realize he's even here. A lot of people don't even pay attention to it,
Right. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I got a video I want to watch really quick. I want your comment on it. So give me a second. Let me make sure I've got sound here. And I'll add it here.
How loud are you? I fucking love it. What, sorry? What's my...
You're crowned king tomorrow. What's your first?
I'm crowned king tomorrow. What's my first... So I'm king of the country, king of the world? King of the world. What's my first thing? Well, I think it would be an environmental thing. Okay, here's my pitch, right? There's too many people on the face of the earth. That's clear. What can you do? Well, I tell you what you can do. Health and safety. We get rid of health and safety. Yeah? And we let the cards fall where they may. So basically, it's a good idea, because not only are you getting rid of 50% of the population, it's the fucking dummies. Oh, my husband died because he fell off the cliff because there wasn't a railing. Will we miss him? My little boy drank paint. Well, maybe you shouldn't drink during pregnancy. I think it's a good idea, right? Get rid of the fucking dummies. Also, if there's get rid of all those signs, like, don't dive in the hot tub. If there's a sign there, it means some fucking cunt did it. Don't cycle on the motorway. What? Do we need those signs? Do we need the people that need those signs? I say fucking no.
I agree.
So,
That's funny. That's some funny shit. But I thought it was going to be like serious, like, okay, I'm king, I'm fixing to start executing people. No. Yeah,
I think he's right though.
Yeah, no,
I think he's right.
It's true. It's true. It's 100% true. We wouldn't need roads.
We just remove all the signs and let the cards fall where they may.
I mean, we do have some ignorant people.
Do we really need a sign that says no smoking?
Yeah.
Not really. No smoking explosives. Do we really need that sign? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, or toxic waste, don't touch.
Yeah.
Or
don't drink paint. Like, that's crazy. Like, and sitting here, and look, I'm doing a lighthearted minute here because we've been talking very seriously all day, or I have all day, and we're sitting there talking about how this moron tried to run past the security guards and how the rhetoric is being, so hyped up. And I think that this encompasses all of it. Remove the safety, just remove all safeguards. Don't put hand on blade. Nah, let that roll. Just let that go. And when you renamed Stumpy, you learned your lesson, didn't you? Exactly. You learned something. And I just,
No,
and he says it in a great way.
Yeah, he does. He
like, my kid's drinking paint. Well, you shouldn't have drank while you were pregnant. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, truth. Like, it's common sense, and it would eliminate a lot of people because there's a lot of people that is just idiots. Like, seriously, like,
yeah.
Why do we need this sign that says stop when the pedestrians walk? Really, you got to have a little man blinking to show you to stop and not to walk because there's cars coming. I mean, seriously, like,
no, that okay, I've seen people that need that sign. Yeah, I've seen the people that I've seen the people that need that sign, and I don't know that they're worthwhile. But now some signs I can agree with, right? Like minefield. You may not know that that's a minefield, right? Like, yeah, it looks like a field to me, and boom, But don't feed the bears. That seems like that at some point somebody was stupid enough to feed the bears, and the bear got fed very well because they ate the person that fed the bears.
But do we really need a road sign if you see the road disappears to a 90-degree angle? Do we really need a sign saying road curve to the 90-degree, you know what I mean? Like, slow down. The road disappeared, so it's going left or right. Do you really? I mean, it could be. Yeah. I get it, but also it's funny because it's like, okay, I see the curve. Do I really need?
What I always like?
Idiots that need signs saying slow down, only do 10 mile an hour because it's a curve.
Yeah, it's interesting that I'm going to say this because I see you smoking there, and it's like they've had warning labels on the
30 years, man. Yeah,
30 years. I remember the Surgeon General's warning was passed when I was in actually it's been more than that. It's been like 40 years because I think it was in second grade. When I was in second grade, they passed that. That law. Hey,
I don't know exactly.
Smoking may do this.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anybody out there that do you think there's a smoker that's ever read those warnings?
I've never really paid attention to it, to tell you the truth. I've smoked since I was a kid, and I've never looked back. And
I think some of the road signs, I'm going to agree with the chat. I think some of the road signs that say, hey, dangerous curve ahead. Okay, that's fair. But, a sign that says pedestrian crossing.
Well, I ride motorcycles. I'm a rider. I'm in these mountains. Yeah. I ride. I know how the roads are. Right. You know what I mean? I'm familiar with roads, especially on a motorcycle. You have to be aware of everything. I don't need some of those signs because I know when that road starts to curve. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of I'm used to being on the curvy roads and stuff. I don't need signs. I know from riding so long that I know how the roads are going to turn. But there is some people like.
Yeah, I think that's a fair one, But the other one, my security says, still trying to figure out who the Surgeon General is. Yeah, you know what? I think we all are. We all are.
Never met him. Never heard him speak. Never, you know. I mean, yeah, I've got the means to quit. I've been trying. I've actually cut down a lot. I've got the gum and the prescription gum and all that stuff. It helps. So,
yeah. I got one more. Let me see if I can get this to play. I have a bunch of these. I get sent. I have a friend of mine who sends me a bunch of things that he thinks that I can use on the air. So let me throw this up here.
This guy, yeah, he's been shut down so many times. This guy's
This is nigga culture.
Yeah.
That's a dude who just wants to play basketball.
See?
Literally just shot that guy.
You know your culture is fucked up when children are killing children. Now,
Yeah.
a 15-year-old named Jaden Pierre was murdered by a bastard niglet with a gun. This is what the black household is raising. Violent children that are killing each other over dumb shit. This is why I fucking hate black culture. We make music that is violent. We raise children in households that are abusive. And we teach black children not to solve basic problems with their words, but with a gun. Good black kids get killed because you niggas refuse to call out black people's shitty behavior and disgusting, cancerous fucking culture. The blood is on black people's hands. Do fucking better, niggas, and pray for the family.
Yeah, that's that guy. I don't know his account. He's on like his 4th or 5th channel on Instagram and TikTok. Like they cancel him so much because I think he speaks the truth. He does things comedically sometimes, but there's a lot of truth behind that stuff, you know, and a lot of, you know, as well as I do, they don't want to hear it. But I do have some friends that's on here that do have channels, and they really try to call out the stuff in their own community. And it's like, but I'm like, guys, you're not getting to the 20-year-olds. Dude, the people listening to y'all, go look at them. They're 40 and over. Seriously, like, I wish the young people were listening to you older guys, you know, and people. But my audience, they don't. They range from 40 and over, maybe 35 some. But it's these top streamers and rappers and famous people that these young-ass people are listening to. And it's like, seriously, if you go look at someone's a top streamer, like a top black streamer, I forget the one guy's name, real famous, you got thousands and thousands of like teenagers and young 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds in their chats. And of course, that's who they want. They want these people in there to support because it's making them money, but they influence so much in that, oh, this is our culture. This is, you know, they have to keep it going. And I try not to speak on it, but I also have an uncle. My aunt married a black man. They were married 40 years. They're both dead now. I have 2 mixed cousins. I grew up with I never introduced him. Hey, this is my black uncle. You know, I think this is my Uncle Kenny. You know, they right down off of Wedgwood in Nashville. You may know where that's at. Mm-hmm. Many, many years, you know, my cousin, she's got 4 mixed babies, you know, married to a black man. I mean, these people are in my family, been in my family for my whole life. So when people say, well, you can't speak to that, and it's, yes, I grew up in East Nashville housing projects off of Dickerson Road, South 606. I mean, we were poor. This is where my mother had to raise us. We were the only like 5 white boys or 5 white kids, period, back in the 80s in those neighborhoods.
Sure.
You know,
I remember those neighborhoods.
Stuff like that. Yeah, they was rough. I mean, they were tough. We you know, White's Creek. You remember that school?
I know. Yeah, White's Creek. Oh, yeah.
We had dude, it was, I mean, people don't understand when I say I was raised in that area, you know, in the 80s in that place. It was tough. It was fighting every day, you know, I mean, everything just to get to school, get home, at school, whatever. Yeah. And it was a tough, but, you know.
I get where this guy's coming from. I think that it's a very interesting thing, and especially when you see this kid who just wants to play basketball getting shut down and hounded or whatever, and then ultimately shot in the chest, killed.
Over what? Because you didn't
wanted to play basketball
from a different street, or you didn't have
whatever the reason why they just didn't like it.
Yeah, I get what he's saying too. It's like, when is this got to stop? When you people are going to say, hey, I mean, they're just doing it because a lot of them think it's cool, or a lot of them try to impress, or I don't really, I can't, it's like I said, it's hard. I'm an old man now.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
I can only speak on the experiences I had in life.
Yeah.
It is. It's like you want to be part of something. You want people to look at you a certain way. You want clout. Even it don't even have to be on social media. It's in the streets like that. They want clout. They want to be known as a tough guy or a tough kid or somebody, that won't put up with something. And this is what they go to. They go and do this stuff, and it's completely, and it's not just in that community though. It's everywhere. That's the whole
it
thing
is,
about
but
it.
I think
It's
insidious though in the black community.
Yes,
I think that it's just. I'm sorry. It's just really insidious in the black community.
Yeah.
Hank O'Flamio, I don't know how you say his screen name, but anyway, Hank says that he outsources his wet work to the state. And then we got, since Josh can't make the panel, I'll just state my concern. My concern is that these idiots think that they can run through a checkpoint and that they are teaching people that they have that capability. Well, I got something for you there, my man. Here we go. Now, this is Ruby Red and Ruby Red stunt person, and they're training at Taryn.
She's badass, ain't she?
Yeah.
She's awesome. Yeah. She's a
No, get ready.
Yeah, she's explosive. I seen this though.
And this is why they think they can do it, because they watch movies.
Exactly, they watch these, and you see her standing there like she's not doing that. This is her stunt people. Like these are experts that are, yeah, they seen too many John Wick movies or too many
right
movies or Boys in the Hood or whatever you want to call it. It's all the action movies, and I think a lot of it also stems from video games. A lot of it comes from video games. I mean, Grand Theft Auto. You got
people trying to drive through traffic.
Yeah, I mean, you also have some of the best Call of Duty games. People think, and it's like, okay. But when you get into a real situation, this ain't like Call of Duty. You know what I mean? You're facing someone like this down, but it's easy when they're 14 and they do that to another 12-year-old or whatever, because they know they're not going to be, I like I said, I think there's a dysfunction in those inner cities. And I think it all, in my opinion, I'm trying not to be so harsh and rude, but let me tell you something. It's the parents' fault. All right. It's the parents. I don't care what kind of house you live in, how poor you are. I was poor. I never did that. My brothers never did that growing up. We never acted stupid. I only went to prison once, and that was when I was 28, 27. I didn't go to prison or any of that shit when I was a kid. My mother whooped our asses. We wasn't allowed to do nothing. She was strict. That roots from the parents. I blame the parents for not getting a hold of their kids and teaching them better. That's
it's great that you just said that, because I have another clip. I get this stuff sent to me all the time. I got like a file full of this stuff. Here we go. Oh, gotta turn the volume all the way up. There we go. And here we go.
License to buy a dog or drive a car. Hell, you need a license to catch a fish. But they'll let any butt-reaming asshole be a father.
I forgot he was in that years ago. Oh my god! Damn, he was young.
Right? They'll let any butt-reaming asshole be a father.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Right? Like, that was perfect timing. That was really good.
That was good. Yeah,
that was the best.
I blame the parents, man. My children don't act like that.
Yeah.
My last daughter's fixing to graduate high school this December, just like her two sisters early. They're very successful. They want to go and start their college and their careers, and they want to do good. They're not. Yeah, I may live in the country, but we've raised them to, to be educated. My oldest is married with a kid, lives in Georgia. She went through school. She's a therapist for children. My 20-year-old's in med school right now, still living at home. She's in her third year. And then my youngest, she don't want med school. My wife's an occupational therapist, licensed, everything, makes good money. But my third one, she's more hands-on. She wants to build motorcycle stuff. Yeah, she's a tattoo artist. She does tattoos. She does all kinds of stuff. She's like that 17-year-old dreamer. She tries everything. She was a softball player from the time she could walk to high school, played for the high school, everything. She didn't want this year. She wanted to go into auto mechanics, and she started doing mechanic stuff and different things. So she's all over the place. So we're not for sure. We do know she will probably go to a vocational school, but we just don't know for what yet. She's hands-on. So, and then
welcome, Hank. How are you?
Medical. So.
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm starting to wind down this episode. I was supposed to go fishing yesterday with my youngest son, and by the time I had the boat ready to go, I had to replace 2 of the 4 batteries in the boat, and that's a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. By the time I did that, got the boat cleaned up and everything ready to go, it was like, I don't know, like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and here that's like hot, like it is just unreasonably damn hot to be out on the water. And so I was like, hey, we'll go tomorrow. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And so he wants me to pick him up from school early, so he can for sure get out on the water, but we'll see.
Where are you going? Wellington or Smyrna Lake or Fall?
Percy Priest.
Percy Priest. Okay. I used to jump off the cliffs over there on that side until they banned when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
So how are you? Why do you look? Josh wants to know why you look so tired.
Oh, because I punched into work at 2:45 a.m. this morning. So that's why.
Damn, son. Hello, Ahimsa. How are you?
Hey, good to meet you, sir. What'd you say your name was? Hank?
Yeah, Hank. Oklamo.
All right. I'm Ray. Just call me Ray.
Yes. So I won't keep you long because it's almost 2 now, so school should be letting out in like half an hour or so. So so just a quick message to the crazy people. Lawfare, don't go. You don't want your first pew pew to be a world leader. Let a trained person handle that if necessary. What you need to do is focus on lawfare and just plenty of weak areas if you're going against the current administration. The weakest area right now is retirement funds. If you find a way to drain those early, that will upset the people in power quite much. And
so Hank, I got to ask you, because I think you're not centrist or anything, but you have the ability to lose at things from a more or less even point of view, I think.
Yes.
Do you think that because of the age of the influencer, because we have such instant information, and we have at the same time the ability to lie like assholes, and nobody can prove you any different, right? Or if they do, only half of the people believe you, the other half believes the original lie, and so on and so forth. Do you think that has ramped up the amount of vitriol in society on regardless of side, right? Because right now, if you do something, you today, Hank, could make a video claiming something and act really pissed off about it, and really, give out a bunch of fake information and just make shit up. And probably by the end of the day, you'd have 100,000 people backing you. Like, this is a crime, Hank. Look at him. Look at that hat, man. You got to trust that guy. He's got the hat, and all that kind of stuff. And this seems to be the way of it on both sides, right? And rather than wait for the information to be vetted, and rather than wait for investigations to be completed, literally 80% of the world goes off half-cocked.
Yes. So at all times, I have at least 3 quasi-feds telling me just to ombuds me. So sure, I could do it, but I have consequences if I do it. Second of all, I strongly blame our schools. Our schools trained us to be reactive rather than do proper research because it makes it easier for the mega corporations to control us so we can be good employees rather than potential threats, except for the elite schools that's supposed to be trained people to replace the current executive class. But if they train all of us like executives, then the people in power will they have too much competition and they don't like it. So they train us to be good worker bees, good cogs in the machine rather than critical thinkers. So I would definitely blame our schools.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think that there's there's probably some truth to that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Excuse me. I agree on some of that. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff that comes from the teaching, especially now in the last 10 years. It's just went, we know with everything that's completely, being political, we know politics is being brought into everything nowadays, every single thing. And just like you were saying, I don't know if this is towards that or not. I'm going to give an example. Like when this first happened, this is exactly why I didn't do my show till 10 o'clock this morning. I wanted to get more facts and more stuff before I rushed to judgment, because even Benny Johnson, a big time streamer, conservative on Instagram, as soon as it happened, put out, and not just him, I'm not just calling him out, I'm calling any of the influencers that did this as well. Man shot and killed, they shot and killed, this intruder. And no, they didn't even shoot. They said there were too many people standing around. They didn't want to take they didn't want to hurt any innocent people, bystanders. And so they tackled him. And it's like, I even left a comment and said, hey, why don't you go and correct this? Well, they usually don't, because they get so many views and clicks and high numbers. They don't want to take that off their platform. And I'm not just saying him, there's many of them. And I'm like, oh, and this is exactly why people, like Hank said, they react and they rush to judgment. And then, it's too late because they've already got something that somebody has put out there, even though it's wrong, but this person may not. Some people care, some don't. Most people don't care if they get it wrong, as long as they get it out there first, or be the first ones at it, or get the clout, or get the views, or whatever. They're pushing this misinformation is what I call it, and they don't care. And I think, like he said, a lot of it starts in the schools because they don't want us to focus on what is, real and logic. They want us to believe this back and forth. They
want us to listen and believe. They don't want us to double check.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can't get us to do what
they said it themselves. Don't you go do the research. Don't you? Every one of them. There's a clip running around somewhere, and from Don Lemon to every CNN and ABC news anchor saying, "Don't do the what? Don't you do the research?" They're telling you, "Don't go do that." You know what I mean? It's like, listen to us. Don't do your own research.
Yeah, for sure. That, and it's even if you do do your own research, they'll tell you that your research is wrong.
Yeah, or who do you believe? There's so much of it.
Yeah, who do you believe? I love that. Who do you believe?
Who do you believe? It's seriously on both sides. Who do you believe? Because I see it pushed on both sides.
Yes, it's gone so bad that no cap, I think on a general basis, a video game's more educational than the average government school class.
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm saying. How do you get to educate these kids, and how do they know who's going to be, the correct educator? You know what I mean? Who they? And that's why I like to educate my own children.
Yes.
They schooling, but also they have education from my common sense to teach them. Don't listen to this nonsense. Don't be, da da da. And Red's the same way. He'll raise his kids, his way, and he will teach them not to believe and what to, what to go on and what.
Not the issue is you have to make them listen to it and point out how it's nonsense, why it's nonsense, why it won't work, or why it's wrong. Therefore,
you also have to teach. I'm sorry. You also have to teach kids how to deal with their anger. Like I'm going through that with my 15-year-old right now. Like he'll turn 16 in about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. And he's just got that teenage anger, man. Like, he's most of the time he's like the most polite kid you've ever talked to, and then just randomly, you'll just hit him at the right moment, or he'll be like trying to listen to his earbuds or something, and he just lights off. And I'm like, dude, you got to lock that down. You got to get it under control. And he understands that. Like he's like, yeah, I know, but he's got all the testosterone. He's got all of the hormone stuff going on. He's got,
Do you have any daughters?
poor impulse control.
Do you have any daughters?
No.
Oh God,
no.
Trust me.
Two
And a
sons.
wife and 4 in the house. Let me tell you, dude, I have to go get my own relief. Go ride the motorcycle, get away from. Trust me, it's worse.
Yeah. And so, I'm teaching him right now that I had to teach him about a year and a half, 2 years ago. He shot up. He went from like being a normal sized kid to being like huge. And I'm like, dude, you can't fight with other kids now. If you hit one of those kids, you're big and strong, and they're not, and you could really hurt someone. And it took him a couple of like discussions for him to come to terms with the fact that he couldn't play with the other kids like they were playing with him, because he could actually do real damage. I'm like, dude, it's not. And I had this conversation with her. It's not fair to you that you're, at that time he was like 14, that you're 14 and you're almost 6 foot tall and you weigh 180 pounds and people look at you like you're a man. I get it. It's not fair. You're a little boy. You're still a little boy inside. You still want to do little boy things. You still want to play with, your whatever. You want to run around and have BB gun wars and things like that. I understand it. You want to do those things. You can't do those things now because the world sees you as a man, whether you want them to or not.
Yeah, but he's
that's
not
the way it is.
Where he can't be
Well,
around.
you can't do it.
They're still too tough for him. It's like.
Well, you can't do it physically, but if you're doing a video game, you could be a dog and no one cares.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't play video games. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't. I mean, he plays video games with his friends. They'll do like a private COD or something like that where they're not.
Good.
He's not playing like multi-character. Or whatever, multiplayer
I'm
shit.
sure with Grid, he's not sitting on there 6 to 8, 12 hours a day.
No, he only gets he like, that's actually one of the biggest things that he gets upset about is he has such a busy schedule. He doesn't feel like he gets enough downtime. And so he's like, I really just want to sit here and not do anything.
That's good.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. Yeah. Also, I mean, he's an active kid, obviously, and that's good. Get him outside, get him away from the computer.
Well, he's happiest when he's doing it. Like, it's very much to my benefit that he is absolutely happiest when he's out hiking. He's going places with kids his age, and he went to a church retreat this weekend. He hiked. Philmont last year did 87 miles in 10 days with 11,000 foot elevation gain. Like, that's tough, man. That's tough, but he did it. And, he's like super proud. He was super happy. He, really gets into it. He's getting ready to do sea base again this year. He's going to be out on a boat for a week and a half or 10 days or whatever it is. I mean, it's just, he's happiest when he's out doing that stuff. I encourage that, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, go do that stuff. And, he doesn't, the only people that really, that he has to kind of rail against is me, to the lesser degree, my wife. I've told him though, that he can't yell at mom, because if you yell at mom, I'm going to get really pissed off about it. Don't yell at my wife, right? Like, that number one rule, don't yell at my wife.
Yeah, don't do that.
And so he'll yell at me and stuff, and that's fine, because I can take it and redirect it, make it work. But a lot of people don't have that in their lives. So they grow up with the inability to deal with anger and to deal with emotion. And I don't know what to do about it, because we've talked about, you can look at everything we tried. We tried psychology, we tried drugs, we've tried getting them out in nature. We've tried all of these different things, but it's still the same problem.
Have you tried like actual training, like with like a combat instructor.
Oh no, I'm talking about generic people. My kid's cool, but yeah, no, I'm talking about generic.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. Yeah,
because
you're not referring to your kid because
Yeah. I'm not referring to my kid. I'm talking about other kids, you know,
boot camp?
or young adults, even adults mine and Ray's age, you know, where there people who just never learned how to handle their anger. I know a guy who broke his hand punching a refrigerator.
Oh, come on.
Why would you punch a refrigerator? Because you know why? Because somebody drank his last beer.
Mm-hmm.
Just get another one.
People can't think like that though, sometimes. So
And
you need to
like,
research for your kid though. You need to research Grid, Pickett State Park and Big South Fork National Forest.
Yeah.
Up there. Dude, some of the best hiking, kayaking, canoeing. You would love it. If you even just look at the screen and see it. I mean, there's cabins you can rent. Yeah. There's horse trails. You can go ride horses if you want. Yeah. You can do Pickett State Park has got some beautiful cabins.
Dude, he's all over the place. He did
some of the hiking, the caves, and over the caves. Got all the stuff. It's awesome, man. Yeah,
but it's really. I'm using my son as an example of on the low end and very relatively easy to deal with. But there are people out there who never get that, and that's who I'm talking. That's who I was talking about, Hank. Like, you know, they throw. Come on, we've all seen the adult in a store throw a fit for no damn good reason.
Oh yeah.
And you're just sitting there looking at them like, what in the world?
No way. Yeah, I never did that. My kids never did that. Never.
Yeah, I'm built like a brick house, so I'm really not worried about it. I pretty much, if you interact with them, just treat them like literally like an animal. Tease them along and stuff. But good, you talked about manufacturing in the United States. Have you heard of the smarter scrubber? The scrubber was built from only U.S. parts, and
no, I'm not familiar with it, but I mean, there's a lot of products that are made here. We're still the largest manufacturing country on the planet, but it's just a lot of the widgets we don't do, like like brooms. Well, I mean, actually, O Cedar is now making their brooms back in the United States again, so like. We don't have to buy Chinese stuff, but a lot of that stuff, it's just we just outsource it because we don't want to make it. And if people want it, they have to get it from somewhere else, right? So whatever. It's I mean, I've looked into a lot of manufacturing stuff, mostly with CNC or 3D printing or something like that. And it's we're pretty good at making stuff in this country. Like it's interesting that everyone defaults to this. Well, if China doesn't make it, we can't have it. And I'm like, that's not true.
Can you share that for just a second? I just want to show you. Can you share that screen?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. This is my park. This is where
cool,
I live.
Man.
Yeah, this is 7 miles down the road. This is where I live right here. Look at that. Your kid you could canoe, kayak, cliffs and these caves.
Yeah, he just did a bunch of. He did with his school. He went on a trip and hiked the Appalachian Trail.
Oh yeah, I've got the Trail of Tears like 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to show you. Like this, you get to hike around it. You get to hike and canoe, and this is just one part. And then like just a few miles down the road is a national forest, which is actually a lot. Freaking, it's awesome. All right, that's good.
So do you guys think, because you guys are probably you're in very different environments, but I'm just asking just a question. Do you think that in America for the past 25, 30 years, factory work has been looked down on? Unless you're making cars or something, but if you were just making rubber dog shit or whatever, it's like, nobody cares about that, in
bigger cities, yes. In small towns that I live in, if you get a factory job, you're set for 30 years.
I was about to say that. Yeah,
you're good for a long time.
But yeah, like making plastic picnic utensils, right? Like forks and spoons and stuff. Like that's something that we just outsource that to China but we can make it here easily. We have some of the best plastic production in the planet. And every time I get into a discussion with someone who's like, well, we need China to be part of it. And I'm like, well, we really don't. Like, we really don't. There's nothing that China produces that we need
to survive. Yeah, we don't need,
or even just for comfort.
Yeah.
They need us, to be honest with you, they need us more than we need them, because we provide a fair amount of food to them.
And the designs.
And well, they're very bright. I mean, but they are, but they're also, I don't know. It's just the way that their mentality works. They have for a long time. And actually, I had this discussion with somebody 2 or 3 years ago about Chinese art, and the fact that if you can look at a 30-year period between like 1940 something, like 1948, 1950 to about 1970. And there's no real art produced by China during that period of time. And the children from those generations are not artistic, because it was suppressed. You weren't supposed to waste time on the arts. And now it's gone almost the exact opposite way. Now you see a lot of really great artists coming out of China in various media, plus music. There's a lot more music coming. Sorry?
The motorcycle community. If you look, coming out of China, the Philippines, places like that, they got some of the best chopper builders, like these old school. They're coming back, and it's considered art. These motorcycles are so beautiful. Yeah, there's a big to go with.
Yeah, they're having kind of a rebirth.
Yes,
because it was stifled for 3 generations, and they're just now, like, their fashion was all bought by somebody else. And now there's actual Chinese fashion again. And I think that that's healthy for them, but we don't need any of that. And so it's interesting how much American people like to talk about how. Actually, it's more interesting how many Canadian people try and tell me that we will never be the manufacturing powerhouse that we once were. And I'm like, brother, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. There's still to this day a blue jeans factory an hour and a half from me that closed down. It used to make Levi's. That's what they did. They made Levi's there. And I promise you that you could spin that factory back up within 3 months.
We got a shirt factory. Yeah, we got them here, man. Like they're still,
it's not like we've tore down all of our infrastructure and all of that. So, however, here's the real problem that we have. Short term, if we really wanted to be independent, if we really wanted to live up to the rhetoric that we put out there, and I'm not sure that we do, I do, but I'm not sure that as the global US, I don't know that we really want to do that. But if we did want to do it, it would take 1 year to 2 years at a minimum, and it's going to take some money because right now that you cannot buy high-tech American-made fabric textiles. Can't do it.
I know that.
Cannot do it. They will all come from Japan, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam. That's where they're made. That's where the factories are. And we built the factories. They're our factories. They're not Vietnamese factories. They're our factories. Yeah. But and I know this because an acquaintance of mine he's forming a new company, and he wanted to produce high-end tech wear, right? So like, hiking pants, cargo pants, but new high-tech stuff, abrasion resistant, breathable, water resistant, all that kind of stuff. And he would go to these mills or these fabric brokers and say, yeah, I need however many thousands of yards or whatever. And I think it's actually by weight at that point. I need this much of this fabric. And they said, well, it'll be 90 days. Why does it have to be 90 days? Well, because that's when it gets shipped in. That's how long it takes to ship from the factory in overseas. So at this point, the best he can do is an American owned and American run facility in Japan or China.
Or you can do like a lot of, I know one shirt place, they're flannels. And when they get here, they just sew their brand name tags on them, and then they sell them for hundreds of dollars. It's Dixon flannels.
That is the model that everybody's gone to. That is it. And I have another friend of mine, a guy named King Cavalier. He owns a company called King of the Mountain, and they do high end hunting clothes, like wool, waterproof stuff, like super high end for people who go on safari in Africa or who go, 60 days in nowhere's Alaska to hunt things. They're like, these clothes you trust with your life because you are, right? And he said his fabric at one time was $55 or $60 a yard, and now it's $150, and it was $180 per yard. So.
And then they wonder why the shirts are $80 to $150, $200 a piece, or the pants. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a pair of jeans. I'll be honest. BKEs, I've got two pair. That's $120. My Levi boot cuts, I've never paid less than probably $150 for. And yes, I could go to JCPenney's and get a pair of $30 Levi's, but they're not my Levi's. They're not the Levi's that I wear. They're the I wear the nice boot cut brand. I want the ones, and I may just have the money to spend. I don't know. I like what I like. They last. I enjoy the quality of the higher expensive ones because they will outdo the $30 pair of Levi's. They do. They will. They outperform that.
Oh, I like this. Uncle Guns says Uncle Guns has something good to say here. No, that was Hank asking where to buy the microprocessor. So, first I went at the textile industry shows the climate nutters do not care about the world at all. Vietnam, China, and other third world textile industry is polluting the world like no other. It's to some degree true, but not whatever. But where is the microprocessing? Yeah. So I don't. I'll tell you, Hank. I believe that there's still a couple of chip manufacturers still in Silicon Valley. That's why Silicon Valley was named Silicon Valley, because that's where they built. They had the chip manufacturing there. I know that in Trump's first term, the top level or the cutting edge, if you will, chip company.
Yes.
Yeah, the chip manufacturer wanted to move to Taiwan, and Trump blocked that as a security and manufacturing problem. And then when Biden got into office, the deal went through and they moved that facility to Taiwan. And then, of course, COVID was in the middle of happening and the entire world locked down a couple of months later. And we're like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? And that was, of course, that was in the middle of them trying to move equipment from facility, literally around the world. And we all know that we had a microprocessor and chip shortage because of that. And it's I see no reason why. And I think Trump is trying to do it, is trying to bring chip manufacturing back to Silicon Valley, which is, I think, where we ought to do that. That I don't understand why people are so against these things, other than it's in California. They're taxed really high. It's very difficult for them to manufacture things there because of the environmental regulations. Dude, when I had a shop in California, okay, it was just a mechanics service shop. I promise you that every 6 weeks, minimum, sometimes more often, I would have some dumbass from the government show up wanting to inspect something and wanting to get paid a fee. I'm fire extinguishers, my smog machine, just all of the stuff. But the worst fucking one was I kid you not. I happened to be there that day. Normally I wasn't in the shop that often, but I happened to be there that day. And this guy comes in and says, "Hey, I'm here to inspect your pressure vessels." And I said, "What? We don't have any pressure vessels. We don't."
You mean the one down here?
Right. The main vein. We talking about the main vein? Main vein's good. No. Air compressors. They consider the tanks for the air compressors that we use for shop air, which every moron in America with a garage has in their garage to inflate tires or to paint cars or to do woodwork or whatever the fuck. They consider those commercially as pressure vessels. And it's at that time, it was $75 per pressure vessel for the permit. I had 3 air compressors in the shop. And I'm like, you are fucking kidding me, right? And he's like, nope, I got to inspect them. And I'm going to, I got to give you the sticker and you got to pay me $225 today. And I'm like, are you shitting me? He's like, no.
That's crazy.
And that was like, I was seriously like, I was so taken aback that I just wrote the check and was like, yeah, whatever. I mean, so. And
do you think it has anything to do with all these, Green New Deal scams?
Well, it's California being California.
Yeah, California.
They're high on their own supply, man.
Back, period. Like.
Well, yeah, I think that definitely the problem I have, and look, there's a couple of initiatives to stop this, right? And I think that I support all of these things, right? So, you've probably all seen the viral video, which I believe is actually AI, of Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from the Shark Tank, facing some people in New York who are like, he asked them, do you think I should be taxed 75% over $1 million or $2 million, whatever it is? And they're like, hell yeah. And he's like, okay, well, this is how this is going to work in New York. The minute I hit $2 million in revenue, I'm shutting down. If that happens in 2 months, if it happens in 3 months, we're shutting down until the following calendar year. And I'll just pay my 20% tax or whatever the fair tax is on the $2 million I made. And you guys I'll just lay you guys off. I don't need you anymore until next year. And they're like, no, you can't do that. What are you talking about? And they're like, well, if I'm going to be working for 30 cents on the dollar, fuck you.
Because then you can't. Well, I mean, the employee rate, paying the employees, keeping the insurance, keeping all the.
So that's the real obstacle, right? If you removed, as we were talking about, Jimmy, as Jimmy said so eloquently earlier, if we just removed the guardrails and just let business do business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they'll just buy everyone up, and then they'll raise the prices after they have everything.
Well, I don't know if they'll have everything, but we can be more competitive on the world scale.
Yeah, we can, if they would just open, like you said, take down the guardrails and let us make our own stuff. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the reason why all this shit's overseas, right? So you guys probably don't know this, but the last lead processing facility in America. Now, we use lead for a lot of things. We use lead in paint. We use lead in fishing sinkers. We use lead in bullets. We use lead in batteries. We use lead in a lot of things. We do not have a lead processing facility, period, in the United States of America. The last one in Arkansas shut down in 2017.
Oh, 2017. I thought it was late 90s.
Can we use the DU plant to process lead, or we don't have that either?
I mean,
I don't even think we mine lead in this country anymore.
I don't think we do.
We buy it.
Yeah.
And recycle it.
I mean, look at how many kids chewed on lead race cars. That's why they all
lead paint.
They're
just. Yes, I'm pulling down some guardrails, but we need to enforce some of the other stuff like the antitrust, because some of the businesses are very naughty.
Well, I mean, so my I grew up in the era of lead paint. My mom just told me, don't lick the walls, dumbass.
Yeah. Don't be chewing that up.
Yeah, don't eat paint chips. Literally, I can actually picture my mom telling me not to eat paint chips. Like, don't do that. That's dumb. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't chew on things that are painted.
But yeah, zoning and retirement is or stuff. we need to address.
Yeah. And Grackle's right. Everything in American manufacturing is cleaner than anywhere else, but they still won't really let us manufacture half the shit we want to manufacture.
Yeah.
Now, that's led to some wonderful technology, right? Like the UV paint, the UV clear coats that and glues that dry instantly with just a exposed UV light. That's us. We did that. We had to because of the way that the manufacturing was going, where you couldn't spray epoxy paint. So now you can just dip something in this UV epoxy, hit it with light, it dries and hardens instantly, and move on. No fumes, no nothing.
Yeah. It's been nice talking to you both, but I'm going to let you go.
I got to get out of here, too. I've got to go get the boat ready to go.
It's good to meet you, Hank.
Play with kids.
Good to meet you.
It was good having you back on, Hank. Normally, I feel like you're a little bit more animated, but today you seem pretty chill, so that's awesome.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was good to meet you. I thought he'd.
Yeah. All right. So Hank is everybody. Hank, do you have a channel? Oh, he's gone. I don't know if Hank has a channel, but if he does, go check him out. He's a pretty cool dude. I am going to get on up out of here. I know I'm 30 minutes. I was 30 minutes late, and I'm leaving 30 minutes early. So at my own shop, I'd be fired. But Dusty, are you still live? You were live until a few moments ago.
All right. Well, I'll drop. If anybody wants to check out my channel, it's Brandon_Ray 80.
No, he's not live anymore. That's all right.
I'm on most social media platforms under that name, or Ray's Moto Life on Instagram. So
yeah, go to Ray's Moto Life. He's a cool dude too.
If you enjoy live streams during the day, just different content, a lot of political, a lot of news, a lot of entertainment. I'm shooting a motorcycle video tomorrow, so that'll be up in a couple of days.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that? So have you heard of Bikes and Beards? They're near me, like really near me, and he's selling a bunch of bikes.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He was having to sell all his stuff he had in the warehouse. I mean, he even bought like Orange County chopper bikes and different things.
Some of them are really good deals. I don't know if you're looking to add one to the fleet, but so I think what he did is he had like $1 million in motorcycles. And he's like, I'm not paying taxes on this shit.
Yeah, he's got a warehouse full. I mean,
warehouses.
He made it big, man. He made millions of dollars. He made it huge.
Yeah.
And I like the ones where he orders from like Costco or something, and they get there and they're like these little cheap, these little things he puts together.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I've been checking him out to see if he has any.
I like that guy. I talked to him on the phone. He told me to come over. I haven't had time because I've been really busy with a bunch of other shit, but I got to go. I'm going to give him a call this week, maybe, and I'll go over there.
Yeah, he seems like a reasonable dude. So
yeah, he's very cool. Yeah. All right, everybody, go check Ray out. In the meantime, I got to get up out of here. Get out here, take the kid out, and I'm going to raid you over to not smoking Spaceman to OG. And you guys have a great rest of your day. I probably will not be back on tonight. I will be back on Wednesday. Of course, I take Tuesdays off, and we'll have a lot to talk about. In the meantime, get on up out of here as soon as what do I got to do here? What's the thing here? There we go. All right. I'm getting you out of here. See ya.